Hello humans, welcome back to my makeup room. Today is Project Pan time. Today we're going to go through the update, my first update of my 2020 Project Pan, and we have some very exciting stuff to go through. We're going to start off with my empties and successes, the goals I have reached. First up, MAC Fix Plus. This is empty. I started up here at the beginning of the project and I was able to use up that whole darn thing. So I don't know how I did this, but I did and I'm very excited. This was okay. I didn't hate using it, but it's not something I think I'm gonna get again. I have other setting sprays to use. For my Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Contour Wand, this is in the shade Fair Medium. I started up here and I used that much and now it is empty. I'm very excited to have this out of my collection because the packaging was getting awful and just so tedious to use, and I don't really enjoy reaching for this because of that. It's a nice product, but it's very expensive and I don't think I'm gonna buy it again. Next up, we have concealer. This is my CoverFx Power Play Concealer. I had the shade N Fair 2, and at the beginning of this project, I was at the bottom line, and I used all of that up. It was about maybe a third of the tube. I don't know. Anyways, this is gone. This isn't something I'm gonna buy again. It was nice, but I just didn't really like this doe foot and I wasn't really enjoying using it all that much. So I'm glad I finished it and I enjoyed using it, but its time has passed. Now for the two gimme products, these are a couple of primer samples. The Tatcha Silk Canvas, it was just a little foil packet in there. And this was the Dermablend Instagrip Jelly Primer. And I put it into this little jar. I should have a before photo, but as you can see, it is empty. I didn't like this jelly primer. I don't like the primers that make your face sticky, which is something I've learned relatively recently. So not something I'm going to invest in the full size. And the Tatcha one, I find that the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer is fairly comparable, so there's no need for me to buy the most expensive primer on earth. Now the last product I hit my goal on was my highlight. This is Ofra, all of the lights, and I was able to hit pan. Now that's a pretty good pan, I'd say. I'm very excited about that. So that means I get to roll this one out of the project. Before we get into the progress of most of the products, let's talk about the two fails that I had in this project. And by fails, I mean declutters, which is sad, but it has to be done. So this is the L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear Foundation. This is in the shade 405. This is the lightest one. This was an okay foundation. Not my preference, more of a full coverage matte kind of a look, but, and of course it's too dark for me because every foundation is too dark for me, but what I found when I was using this one, my skin was getting irritated and like itchy, and I was also trying a new powder, so it could have been the powder or the foundation or the combination of the two. But I decided to just declutter both of them because I don't have time for that. I have many other products in my collection that I can use, that I can work through, and this one is more of a matte kind of a foundation, and it very well could have been drying out my skin. And that's not something I want to do. So I'm going to declutter this, find a new home for it. But I did roll this one out of the project early enough that I did choose to put a new foundation in, and that was pretty early on in the month. So let's talk about that foundation. This is the Revolution Stick Foundation in the shade F1. Again, the lightest shade. This one is a touch yellow for me, but not bad. And I'm going to put a picture up of where we were before, and this is all we have left. I've made pretty remarkable progress on this, especially for a foundation I also don't really like. But what I find with this one, it's not dry. It's fairly full coverage, but it looks funny on my nose, and it's a little thick, and it's a little oily, and I just don't love it. So I don't even put this all over my face. I'm just putting it sort of on my cheeks and my forehead and my chin and avoiding my nose. And then I go really heavy in with my concealer. So I don't love this foundation, but I'm okay with trying to use it up. And I don't have very much left. So I'm thinking by the next update I should be done this, and I hope I am. The next fail we have is the brow pencil. This is the NYX Precision Brow Pencil in the shade Taupe. I don't like this. I decided I wasn't going to put up with it anymore. If we look at my little markings here, I was at the middle line at the beginning of this month, and then I got down to that line at the end of when I started giving up. And I've just decided I have other brow pencils. I really don't like this one. I don't want to torture myself to use this pencil, especially when I know there's still such a big chunk of product. There's still a lot of product. It's going to take me a long time to get through this, and I don't want to have 3 or 4 months of torture of my brows. So, sadly, I'm getting rid of this one too. Now, for this one, I didn't choose to declutter this one early enough on, so I didn't really roll in a replacement for this brow product. But we will be doing that today. Now let's talk about products that we have updates on. This is my Pixi Rose Flash Balm. We started up here. We are all the way down here. So I'm thinking it might not be this month, but it might be the next month when I can finish this one off. I thought I really liked this primer, but the more I've used it, the more I realized I'm just kind of neutral about it. I don't find it really does anything for me. I like other primers better. My favorite hydrating primer is still my Too Faced Hangover RX, and this one is just okay. So I'm glad I'm using this one up and getting it out. Next, for updates, we'll talk about my Pure Bronzing Act Matte Bronzer Light. This is what we're looking like right now. I can pretty visibly see the rings, so I don't think I'm that far off from hitting pan, but I thought that last month too. So I don't really know where we are. I'm hoping I can hit pan on this soon. See, you can see the dip there. I hope I can hit pan on this soon. It might be a couple months yet, but I'm happy with the progress I'm making on this one. Next we have the blush. This is from the Pure 4-in-1 Blush Book, and it is the shade Passionate, and I actually just put it in a little Z palette so it would be easier for me to maneuver around. That's what we're looking like right now. There's no real dips yet, but the raised portions of the pan in the embossing are definitely worn down a lot. So I think hitting pan is still quite a ways off, but we're gonna keep on trying. If there's one product in this project that I'm getting discouraged about, it's this blush. And I think it's just because I'm starting to be drawn to other colors other than this one in my collection, so I'm finding it a bit of a chore to reach for this. But we're gonna keep it in and see how we do. Next up, we have my lip liner. This is the Rimmel Exaggerate Lip Liner in 032. Oh, it's Innocent. I've been saying Indecent. This is all we have left. And if we look at the markings on my cap, I've been measuring it like this. We started way up here and now we're down to here. So I'm quite pleased with the progress I've made on this. I'm not worried about how I'm doing. I'm thinking and hoping I can have this done by next month so we can roll it out. Next up, and I believe the last item, sort of the last item to discuss for updates before we talk about what we added in, is my Bite French Press Lip Gloss, and I'm so excited about this. I'm not done, but I started way up here and I am so close to being finished. There's still a nice amount of product along the sides, but if I scrape, you can see we're getting pretty see-through, and it only settles at the bottom like that when you have it standing up. So I am quite confident I can finish this up pretty soon, and I really am so excited to be able to do that. I didn't think I would be able to breeze through a lip gloss this quickly. Now let's talk about products I've added in. Now, first of all, I finished up the CoverFx concealer fairly early on, so I decided, well, maybe like halfway through the month. So I rolled in the Jouer Essential High Coverage Concealer in the shade Snow. And when I rolled it in, I did mark it, so I was up here. I've used about a centimeter worth of product, which I'm quite pleased with. So now we're down to a centimeter and a half, a centimeter and 3/4 left to go in the tube. And I'm quite hopeful that I can get this done in the next month. This is, I'm pretty sure, the oldest concealer I have going on. So I'm trying to work chronologically with my concealers just to make sure I'm using them up and not letting them go bad. I go through concealer fairly quickly, so that's not a real concern, but I do have quite a few in my collection, so I just want to make sure I'm not letting one sit at the back and get unused. I'm thinking we're on the right track with this one. For setting spray, we finished up the MAC Fix Plus, and now we're using up a couple of minis that I have. This is the Ofra Makeup Fixer, and I did mark it, well, I marked it a few days ago and it was up here, and now we're down to here. So this is gonna go pretty quickly, and so is the Lila B, a glow face mist. I just marked this today, I'm up here, but there's not very much product in these guys. These are, again, gimme products. So I'm really not worried about this. I'm just tired of having these little guys rolling around in my drawers. And then we're gonna get on to a more meaty setting spray where it's more full than these two little guys. Now, since my foundation stick is so low, I'm thinking I'm gonna finish this before the end of the month. And just to keep on top of things, I'm going to roll in another foundation that does not have very much product in, and then I can use them kind of interchangeably, and I don't have to worry about feeling pressured to only use this foundation, because this one's a little bit more work when I have to be very specific about where I'm applying it. But I think this one should be easy, and I don't have very much left. This is the Thrive Buildable Blur CC Cream. I don't love this. I've been using it a lot to mix, so I'm ready to get this out of my collection so I can focus more on foundations I like more. My new brow product is a Benefit Precisely My Brow sample. I think this was a Sephora gift with purchase, something like that. Now this is in the shade 3.5. This is too dark for me, but I can make it work, and there's hardly anything there. So I want to use this up, get it out of my collection, and then I can focus on my other brow pencils, and I won't have this one hanging about. The product I am replacing my highlight with is another highlight. This is the Physicians Formula Butter Highlighter in the shade Pearl. And this is one of those cream to powder highlights. And I just want to hit pan on this one. I want to get some use out of it since it's a cream product and gather my thoughts. and all that jazz. If I was able to hit pan on the original highlighter in 1 month, I might be able to hit pan on this in 1 month. I have a little tiny dip, as you might be able to see, and these cream products, it's easy to move them around. So without trying, I might inadvertently hit pan. We'll see how it goes. And my final add-in to replace my Charlotte Tilbury contour wand is my Huda Beauty Tantour. I have the shade Fair. I have not used very much of this, as you'll be able to see. And again, this is a cream product, and I have had this since last summer, and I have hardly used it at all. And I don't want it to go bad. I want to try and get my money's worth. So I want to hit pan on this. Hopefully I can get good use out of this, and even more during the summer when I'm more inclined to use cream products. But I don't know. I want to get my money's worth, you know? I don't want to have it just sit in my collection and go bad. And that, fellow humans, is the conclusion of my update. I know there was a lot of stuff going on, but I'm pretty happy with the progress I made, and hopefully next month I'll be able to make a lot of good progress as well, and we'll see how we do. Hit like and subscribe if you want to, especially if you want to keep track of my progress through this project. Hit the bell to become a Pavlovian dog, and I'll see you next time. Bye.